This is the second part of the study guide review, and we'll start off right away on number 5, which says 12 and an eighth minus 9 and a quarter. So the first thing we got to do is make sure that these two fractions have the same denominator. So how does 1/8 compare to 1/4? Well, if I take a quarter and I multiply that quarter by 2 over 2, look what happens. 1/4 becomes 2/8. These are equivalent fractions. These are the same thing. 1/4 is 2/8. It's no different. So then our new table becomes 12 and an eighth minus 9 and 2/8. And when you subtract them, I'm going to show you a little bit different how I think about it. You usually would borrow, but in this case, I'm just going to look at it like, what's 1/8 minus 2/8? Well, it's the same thing as 1 minus 2, which is -1. So 1/8 minus 2/8 is minus 1/8. What's 12 minus 9? Well, that's 3. What's 3 take away an eighth? That's just 2 and 7/8. Okay? I encourage you to pause that and think about that if you have any trouble with that. Okay, the next question is number 6, which is 3 2/3 plus 2 1/6. So we're again going to analyze the fraction part. 2/3, how does that compare to 1/6? Well, if we take 2/3 and we multiply it by 2 over 2, we get 4/6. Now we can add these two fractions. It's good to go. So this equation will become 3 4/6 plus 2 1/6. The two sixths added together will give us 5/6, and the 3 plus 2 is just 5. So the answer is 5 5/6. Okay, over here we have number 7. We have 1 3/4 plus 2 5/7. So let's look at the fractions. 3/4, how does that compare to 5/7? Alright, well, there's no easy trick. 4 does not go into 7. And, so we have to think of the first number that they both go into. And I'll just tell you right now, if we have 3/4 and we multiply it by 7 over 7, I'm using that 7 to come up with that, we'll get 21 over 28. So this is the case where we're going to have to multiply them by each other here. And if I start with 5/7 and I want to convert it into the 28, I got to multiply by 4 over 4. And I get 20 over 28. If I add those two guys together, right there, I'm going to get 41 28ths. And if I add the 1 and the 2 together here, I get 3 41 28ths. Now, 41 28ths is not really a nice number, so we're going to have to break that apart. So that becomes, let me just put a little dot here, that becomes 3 plus 28 28ths plus how much is left over? Okay, what's 41 minus 28? 41 take away 28 is 3, 11 is 3, is 13. So basically this becomes 41 28ths. If you break it into a normal number, a mixed number, you're going to get, well, 28 and 13 together add up to 41. Okay? So this just becomes 3 plus 1 plus 13 28ths, or 4 13 28ths. All right, the back side now. Now's the decimals, the more fun part. 4/5. How do you write that as a decimal? Well, that's the same thing if you multiply it by 2 over 2 as 8/10. And as a decimal, that's 0.8. How about 2 3/10? Hey, that's 2.3. How about 1 3/8? So I'm going to divide 8 into the 30, and it goes in 3 times, 24, 6, and it goes in there 7 times, and that becomes 56, and there's a 4 left over, so it goes into 45 times, so 0.375. And you have to put a 2 in front of that, so it becomes 2.